Hello! Now that we know how to create tables, how to delete them, and how to change their structure, it's time to learn how to enter data into tables. The insertion of data in the tables is done by the insert into instruction, after which we will specify the name of the table in which we want to insert an entry. After specifying the table name, we will write the values keyword and open the parentheses. Inside these parentheses, we will specify values for all the columns that our table expects in order. The number of values specified in parentheses must be equal with the number of columns in that table, and must also be of the respective data type in order. If we do not meet these conditions, our query will throw an error. Suppose we have a student table and each student will have an int type ID, a name, an email, and a description. We will have to specify the ID, the name, the email, and the description. For ID, since it's of type int, we will enter a number directly, and after the comma, we will pass values for the following columns. The next column in our case is of varchar type. Therefore, we will have to enter a value in the form of a text. Unlike Java, where our string values must be enclosed in double quotes, in SQL, varchar values must be enclosed in single quotes. This is the complete insertion of a table entry. The insertion can also be done partially for certain columns chosen by us. These must be specified in parentheses after the table name, and the values entered in parentheses after the keyword values must be specified in that order. Using this instruction, a new entry will be added on our student table with values for each column specified in the query. Instead, all columns in the table that were not specified will have the default value, which is null. Let's see an example in Workbench. Let's go back and create a student table. We will write create table student. We will open and close parentheses, write a comma at the end, and inside these parentheses we will specify our columns. We will have an ID of type int. We will have a student first name of type varchar of 20 positions. Also, we will have a student last name. We will have an email of type varchar of 40 positions, and we will also have a grade of type int. Let's go ahead and create our table. Let's also select everything from our table. We will write select star from student. We will hash the query and execute it, and we can see that here we have the columns ID, first name, last name, email, and grades. So let's insert a student. We will write the insert into student instruction, after which we will simply write values. We will open and close parentheses. Here we will have to enter our ID, first name, last name, email, and grade values. The ID will be 1. The name is of text type, so we will pass it between simple quotes. I will write Tudor. The last name is also of type varchar, so I will also write it in simple quotes. The same goes for email. And the grade will be of type int, so I will simply write 9. Let's select our query and run it. You can see that the insert was successful. Now, if we run the query select all from student, we can see that we have an entry with ID 1, first name Tudor, last name Dumitrescu, email tudor@google.com, and grade 9. Let's insert another entry. We will insert a student with ID 2, name Gabriel, and grade 10. We will select the query, execute it, and now if we run the select query again, we can see that we have 2 entries. Suppose we want to insert a student without specifying his grade and email. All you have to do is specify your ID, first name, and last name. So we will write insert into student open and close parentheses. Inside them, we will specify the columns we want. We want our ID, our first name, our last name, and that is all. We will write values, and inside these parentheses, we will have to enter values for our ID, first name, and last name. We will write 3, N, Marie. We will select our query and execute it. And if we run our select statement again, we can see that we also have an entry with ID 3, the first name N, the last name Marie. The other columns have the default value null. Let's insert a student by specifying only his first name and grade. We will write insert into student. We will specify it as first name and grade. Values, and here we will have a text and a number. Grade 10, name John. Let's also select this query and execute it, and select everything from our student table once again. We can see that we also have John, grade 10, and the other columns are not specified, therefore we have the null value.